Read the disclaimer. Hello everyone to the Week in Review, where we recap the previous week and anything extra. Okay, we have a very lovely Sunday because in the morning I got to do my gym, so that was a very good start to my Sunday. I've been catching up since, as I said before, the previous week, etc. Yeah, I was catching off from my fever and everything. And then after blah 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 recovered, so then after I'm slowly getting back into doing gym and all that stuff, so that's actually really great for me. Yeah, we'll get on the topic of discussion. So obviously, main thing is going to be SharkScale, the Samurai video, which they also dropped today, which is also why I had to do a little pause, because I was like, wait, okay, I have to add that into the discussion today. So we'll get into it. I'll first throw in the store plug, and also general update to mold. I should be time stamping these lives after I finish them, but I always forget. I always forget. But a happy Sunday to everyone. Isn't this the one? Here we go. Mullibays, yeah. So, give a little quick update in general because July was a little bit nuts. So, I think I already explained this probably last week, but basically, the July releases are probably the worst handle I've seen in a long time. So there's a difference between, for an example, if let's say a person gets like X stock, like for an example, some get like Hong Kong or like Manny stock or whatever, and I've heard that, for an example, gets delayed sometimes by a week for whatever reason. Now the issue that I face, because I get Japan stock for what I import in, basically what happened was I just got short stock. So it doesn't matter how much I order to the supplier. Their priority is obviously going to be within the Asia region for their retailers, all that stuff, whatever. So whatever I ordered, I got super short stock. So it really sucked because I had like a lot of good sales in July. Some stuff I was able to restock, so I am getting some blasts that are going to be coming in, which is not going to be fun because obviously since I have to get like separate shipments, the duties and whatever, but whatever I can make, I'll try to do. So blasts will get restocked. No random booster. Random booster, if I have anything left over that's not a full set, I just realized that Shopify, you can actually do a thing where you can just select options instead of me doing a giant PNG of showing all that stuff. So whatever I have left over, I'll get rid of. For the other stuff, for Shark Scale, well, actually, Samurai Caliber, I have plenty of left, and it makes sense. Caliber is kind of the lesser that month for the booster. There's not too much hype. Most of the hype is honestly on the bit, which is fine. That makes sense. The Shark one, I'll preface it by saying we should get more Shark stock, like I kind of said before, but it depends if TT decides to fuck me over and just not give me enough stock, because it's a pain in the ass. So yeah, that's pretty much the discussion in terms of the situation. This affects not even just me. This affects other retailers. I don't know. I guess the demand must be so high for Beyblade X, or they just didn't make enough. So it's either or. But yeah, we'll get into the discussion now a little bit, and I'll kind of start off with a little bit of my stuff. Will your site be updated with the CX stuff? So the reason why the database is not updated, other than the fact that I don't get paid for doing it, meaning I have less motivation, because obviously I only have time to do the channel, whatever, and a lot of other stuff. So anytime I'm working on the database, it's purely just like for love of the community and all that stuff. And I don't have time to balance out. But CX, especially, CX is very hard to draft because it's very complicated. You have a main blade and an assist blade, whatever, and the reason why, and I think it was the better call to delay it by so much, even though I always do these hiatus, it's just to learn and understand the system, to see what works, what makes sense, all the heights and all that stuff, so then after to start drafting. Because my rule of thumb is usually going to be maybe 1 to 3 months for a release, typically, even though I think now I'm breaking that rule, to start doing the drafts. To see tournament stuff, all that stuff. Sometimes I might draft early, depending on my testings, if I'm confident in it. I just want to do a one and done, so I don't have to go out of it. Small base ship to Egypt? Probably not. Mostly just because shipping costs and everything. Like, you'd be paying like an arm and a leg, like a lot of stuff, like a lot of Europe and a lot of other places. Like, I can't because I don't know. I mean, unless you want to pay insane shipping, whatever. But that's not really ideal. And plus the time, because I use Canada Post. I don't use UPS or FedEx, so I don't know. In some areas, it is very tricky to bring in bays. But what I've been up to, I did modify that Cerberus thumbnail. I know it's a little bit different. I made the metal wheel a little bit. Actually, I'll talk about when I get to the thing. But I am happy on this thumbnail format that I have here. So this week, got Pegasus Blast. Got Cerberus Flame. So both videos took a super long time to edit. Like, pretty much, I think now, if I'm going to be doing these type of videos where it's a lot of editing, a lot of, like, nice stuff, whatever, I will probably have to, if I get it on a Monday, I would probably have the video on a Tuesday, generally speaking. But we would say, depends on circumstance and all that stuff. They take a lot of editing to do. Because it's so much, like, points that I'll make or whatever, and I want to have, like, complimentary, like if I say, oh, it's a reference to this, you see that, not just, like, I don't know. I want to really make sure I up the quality, and I think, in a funny way, even though I couldn't do much content for most of July, so I had to take a hit on my YouTube paycheck, but content is getting better, and I do have a better frame of reference for the future, so that is pretty fun. So in terms of discussion of the parts and the meta stuff, so we tested everything except for Rock Leon. I didn't even get to, I literally just did the stickers for it. I don't think anyone's gonna be really upset on Rock Leon's video. Might be tomorrow, but it's 29 grams. I'm not going crazy over it. It's probably going to be on the low tier stuff anyways. But for Blast stuff, if you're wondering right now, Turbo is dog shit. And it's not even like, oh, it's the gimmick, activation, whatever. That's maybe a factor. It's just the burst risk. Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense to me. It just bursts like so much. We literally just did like a joke where we would get it against like some other attack or whatever. Or I think we tested it against like Wizard Rod Hexa. So we got like 4 or 5 different attack blades. We just kept launching to see if we could beat it every 3 tries. And usually what happens is it'll be stationary, and then after it'll activate and just waste all its energy. So I do think its design just doesn't work, whatever. But I also think this lies to a bigger issue from Takeratomi, where these fuse ratchets, or not fuse ratchets, the single piece ratchets where like 455, 385, M85, yes, even if there's niche use and including to turbo, is a bad gameplay design. This should be either a normal lock or don't do it at all, because they're pretty much unusable. And even on 455, even if you want to say, well, 455, you can use it on Cobalt, or well, we have 450 now. That's a normal lock. Doesn't scrape. There's no reason to use. Even 385. No one uses 385. M85, maybe some funny attack build, whatever. But I don't like these ratchets. I don't like the ratchet design. I don't think it's a competent design. I think to TT, there's certain aspects that don't make any sense. The next other thing, because we're going to move our way up, because that's how my brain is focusing right now. The Assault Assist Blade is whatever. Like, oh my god. I just moved the thing. Shit! Whoa! I hit accidentally the preset that moves me a little bit. Okay, that's not going to be fun. I have to readjust myself. It's pretty much just like, it's a good shape, but it's just raised for no reason. Like, it's 60 height, so that is the same as like your turn. It's maybe better than charge, I guess. Like, you would run this on 3-bladed stuff, but the height makes no sense at all. It's a very stupid design, so I don't really see any reason to use it. Now, Blast, I've seen, has gotten a lot of hype. Is Pegasus Blast? You'll see the video probably later this week, because that's what won the poll. Is Pegasus Blast the meta shattering? It kills the meta, or the meta's dead, or whatever. Pegasus Blast, pretty solid, or the Blast main blade. Is it S tier? Probably not. I have this in the same tier as, we're going to pull up my tier list, because that's also the other reason why that video got delayed, because I'm like, it's already close enough, so I'll maybe add them together, or we'll see. I have this, I think, maybe in like the tier 1, so Blast is like that Buster tier, Impact tier, for what I think it is. Blast issues, to me, is just the lack of stamina. It hits super hard, but it dies pretty rough in the end game. So it did kind of beat Hover, which was pretty cool. And that's why I'm like, even Hover and Scorpio's placements, I usually swap with each other because I can't tell. Phoenix Wing, Blast will die too. Now, the build that I did do in context was 760 flat, I think, on Slash. Maybe Jaggy could have worked a little bit better. Always room for experiment. It did decent, like for CX, pretty good. Even though I think this was like a 44% whatever, in context, seeing the percentage whatever, I think it's fine. It's a fine release. Like, this is definitely better than Brave. I don't think it's super, super nuts or crazy. I did test out Blast on Wheel for stamina, because I was hearing some hype for it. It did shit. I don't believe it. Maybe the Valkyrie chip somehow makes this like even crazier or something like that, but Blast, if you're looking for a CX attack blade that's like, you could run it in a tournament and be confident in it, yeah, I think Blast is definitely something. Pegasus Blast, 1 or 360 kick. So here's the thing. My benchmark is Wizard Rod 160 Hexa. So I did try it, but the issue with kick is that it just stands too much, and Blast, I don't know. Maybe some launch tech or whatever, something like that. I think Wizard Rod 160 Hex is a pretty good kryptonite to see kind of for a lot of these attackers if they're really good or not, or how much is their win rate. It did nuke Silverwolf 960 low orb, so if you that's pretty good, I would say. That's a pretty good, if Silverwolf low orb, very, very good defense combination. So the fact they could kill that, you know, there's a trade-off here. So typically speaking, usually what'll happen is, if it can beat like the ball type of defense or stamina thing, it'll probably die to Hexa Wizard Rod, so maybe that's why I'm also kind of not being like too like crazy with it, but yeah, I think not too bad. So good value for CX, good value considering that they've either been mid or shit, so that's pretty good, I would say. Now, Cerberus, so we're going to get a little bit interesting here. Now, I specifically only tested it with Wheel. I think it's, actually, we'll first cover Wall Ball. I did not even bother with Wall Ball, mostly just because of the fact that it bursts and dies. Hello, this is Typhoon. How are you? Well, thank you for showing up in the live chat, and thank you for the support. Wall Ball, I just, I'm not a fan of. Now, it could see, in theory, maybe even have better stamina than Hexa, all that stuff, whatever, but honestly, even in the review stuff, which we did test against meta stuff, the burst risk is just too nuts. So, the issue is a bit like Wall Ball, is that 16 gears is already generally bad, but it's not the determining factor if something could be good or bad. It just, you accelerate a lot, and I think it's a little bit of a risk, but mostly just the fact they gave it no resistance. And the issue with that is that if you are super, super bottom heavy, it's going to be a lot easier for you to get lifted off your actual blade there, because all the weight's down there and then the weight's on the top to push it up because your weight's on the floor. So the issue is not really like 16 gears. I mean, 16 gears is not really doing it any favors. It's more like it's contributing to the fact that because it has that low resistance, it's also not really doing good as well. The wheel assist blade, I think, is probably going to get best used defense. I'm not too sure attack. Maybe Pegasus Blast on like wheel 760 low rust. Maybe something silly like, or under flat when we eventually get it would be funny. Wheel sponges quite a bit where it'll take a hit and do fine. The build that I tried, which is very goofy, is 180 Hexa on wheel. I thought they did pretty decent. Is it better than Wizard Rod Hexa? No. Would it be safer than a Silverwolf low orb? Probably not. Is it decent to use? Like, you could still run it? Yeah. I would say kind of like that Golem-type defense. Like a Golem Hexa is maybe what I would say is fair to compare to it. I mostly just did a stupid tall combo just because I wanted to see if that concept can work of having a kind of, from the Metal Fight generation, like a Flame 230 CS, which I do have to read an explanation to remember what it is, but Cerberus is also still going to probably be tier 1, maybe like a low tier 1. Actually, it's a Golem's there too, so it'd be next to Golem. This is not in order, by the way, whatever base I put there, but yeah, I mean, these are the best CX releases, I guess, but not meta-shattering, whatever, not like, these are just fine. And I think maybe a lot are just like excited for it because CX has been really awful. So anything that's like not dog shit is kind of like 10 out of 10 for a lot. I agree. I tried wheel 760 hex in some testing today, and it does work, but it wobbles too much. Yeah. So the wobbling, that's another point, actually, that's very good. Thank you for mentioning that. Flame is hollow, and so is wheel. And that's a big issue. And the reason why, you don't have anything inside to act, I don't know, there's like no structure inside, whatever, no weights filled in. Like, it's heavy, technically speaking, but I think as everything's so hollowed out, it kind of just gets ragdolled very easily. And this is a release where if they filled in Flame a little bit more, it could have probably been really decent. So I don't think wheel is maybe bad. I think maybe we just don't have a good main blade to pair it up with that's like super consistent. Even blast on wheel, I know it's for weight maxing, but I don't know if I believe it. How about it's like an attack build for blast? So an attack. So I just mentioned that. So 760 flat is what I did for blast. Did fine. I've heard. I don't remember what area in Japan, but I know one of the winning combos though was with the Valkyrie chip. Was blast on, I think, slash 360 low rush or something that got them qualified. But yeah, these are pretty solid for CX right now. I think there's something there. There's no solid metal to absorb energy. Yeah, this is definitely the thing. They have to fill in. I don't know. The main blades for CX. A lot of the issue sometimes it's shape or it's the weight distribution or like how they fill in the metal. Because some of the shapes are really like. Is neutered the right word? Like, if you held this... Thank you so much. Kyoto and... Yep. Okay, so this was the combination. Thank you so much. If you look at Flame compared to the Hell Fusion Wheel, like, Flame, it's kind of a reference to the shape, but, I don't know, it feels so nerfed, but... It's, in some aspects, a disappointment, but... By CX standards and in general meta, not a bad thing, right? You're looking at that, not a bad thing. So we're going to kind of get now into the discussion on the new SharkScale, which I think this is really good except for the hell spray fence there. Mostly the bottom parts. It's kind of like one of those weird things, I don't know. Is Pegasus worth getting? Pegasus, I think, is a solid for attack. I think it's like your impact or kind of buster kind of a risk reward where it drains a lot of stamina but hits fine. I tried wall bar and moves on 2 unpredictably and sometimes self-KOs. Yeah, this is the other issue. I think even if you light launch, I'm not too sure if you get around it. But, yeah, I think Pegasus is worth... By CX standards, yeah, I think if you already have a Courage Drawn or Drawn Brave, I think it's fine. Is it a must-have in the sense, like, is it worth more than if I were to get, like, if you have Hasbro stuff, like, the Hover and Impact set? Probably not. It's a fine option, like, it's way better than, trying to think of what it's like your Whale Impact Buster, yeah, I think it's fine. I'm trying my best just to make sure I'm being, like, impartial to it, because I have a very high standard for CX, so I don't want to try to bolster it up like crazy. So... The scale shark thing we'll get into. So this is the bay that it's like, the good thing about this is at least it comes with the Jaggy assist blade. I'm not too sure, by the way, Blast with Slash or Jaggy for it. I feel they're pretty similar to each other. Maybe Slash is a little bit easier on those contact points. How about Blast, Jaggy, 360 low flat? I've tried a lot, and the issue is it probably is fine against other stuff. But if I'm going up against like Wizard Rod 160 Hexa, which is a pretty high standard... Whatever I picked was the most consistent, and I went from there, kind of going up. I think Scale's going to be a mega shift in the meta. Not even just the blade. I think all the parts are definitely going to do something. Wouldn't Valkyrie Blast be the heaviest 6? Yeah, it would probably be. And I would probably do some sort of video where I'm going to write this down so I don't forget. Where I do, like, all the heavy bay, tallest bay, most mode change, shortest. I'll probably wait until after Scale comes out. Slash works slightly better, but they're both interchangeable. Yeah, I agree. It's also, there's no real options anyway, so it's like A or B, so yeah. If only the Assault Assist Blade was 60, that would have been so peak. That would have been so peak. Yeah, but hell's Brave. Brave is not bad, I guess. It's mid, I would say. Yeah, I mean, if you compare it to Blast, yeah, I prefer Blast over Brave. Blast definitely hits a lot better. Comes with 360 gear flat. We should have got 960 gear flat. Is not a good bit. Maybe in a Hasbro stadium where the space is really enclosed. Maybe then. Tyranno-Roar, or Roar Tyranno. No, Tyranno-Roar is the right order because it's the TT name. Decent defense blade. I don't say attack just because you just do Phoenix Wing and it's really rounded off. So like kind of like what you'd kind of run on Golem, I would say is kind of the equivalent. 170, really going to be nice. I'm very curious to see a Wizard Rod on 170 Hexa over 160 to see if that makes things a little bit interesting. And level, listen, level is a very, very good bit. This is a bit in attack versus attack that I think is king. I did want to try more Blast. I think I did try Blast on level, but it didn't kill. It didn't kill that Wizard Rod. I hope the new stuff like 950. They will probably do this, and that's gonna be some. But that's where we'll get into the merge discussion later on. Is Aero Pegasus better than Pegasus Blast? Yeah, I mean for consistency's sake and everything, yes. But CX is already working enough on a struggle. This is like Pegasus. This is like Aero Pegasus if it was more attack. So basically Phoenix Wing, but not as crazy as Phoenix Wing because it's CX, but not bad. I guess I don't know. The SharkScale FC. I don't know. It's not out yet. We're just discussing based on the video. But 170 gonna be pretty interesting to see. Probably on the Hexa combinations. I don't really know what. Maybe a funny attack stuff like maybe like a Phoenix Wing. I do think 70 height on attack build is a little bit overlooked. Like I've done a Phoenix Wing on 770 point. I do think 70 height is not too bad, but I do think maybe Ratchet selection could have been a little bit better. And then we get our lovely SharkScale, just looking at this thing. So what's really cool about this blade... Oh no, okay, here we go. The plastic to the metal difference here is really crazy, because you'll notice that the metal is a lot lower center of gravity than where the plastic is placed. What else we got? It's now possible to make Brave Valkyrie. Technically speaking, it's Valkyrie Brave, and by Hasbro's name, it's Courage Valkyrie, which would be really dumb. But I think low center of gravity is going to be pretty cool. Oh, here we go. Problem with 70 height is that it's just difficult to get. 60 is overall more common. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about if you have the selection, I guess. Yeah, 770 is now a little bit easier to get. 170 will be a lot easier to get, so that'll be interesting. Tyranno, I'm assuming you mean Tyranno Beat 170. That would be an interesting one for sure. But yeah, low center of gravity for the thing. And it looks pretty wide. Not like, oh, I don't know if it's as wide as Wizard Rod, but it definitely does look like more than the average attack blade. They do try to also say, I think they advertise upper attack. This is definitely smash attack. Even like Shark Edge, I do think is more smash than it is upper. There's no real slope in there for this to be called upper attack unless they're going off the premise that because it's low height and it's hitting under, you push up, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, how they advertise some of these gimmicks are very silly. But yeah, for the rest of the parts here, 450 is going to definitely be an interesting one. Which this is actually really funny because this basically kills off 455. You have no reason to run 455 at all. Not unless you want to run a deck with 450 and 455, I guess. Shark counter Scorpio Hexa. Potentially. The also interesting thing here is that once we get a lot more shorter height attack stuff, this has to work like MFB, where then after people start running taller defense to counter it. Like, imagine if attack gets, like, so much better. Yeah, short attack, then you have tall defense. And then after that'll make, like, maybe similar meta to MFB, but I don't want to say, oh, it's like MFB, because I have to really think about it when I'm saying it. Imagine if Hasbro uses Valtry. I would hate that a lot. Oh, that'd be weird. Scale definitely relies on low attack setups considered upper attack. Yeah, but yeah, it's basically smash. Yep, exactly. But 450 is complete acknowledgement. The 55 and 85 were a mistake. It's either that or they're just stupid. And it sounds mean to say, but it's like, what? Like, I know in Metal Fight you had 105, 100, 90, 85. Like, you had all that stuff. And I'm pretty sure you could go lower than 50 for Beyblade X. They just make no sense in the design. Now, even though this is 4 sides, I do think, generally speaking, 4 sides is the easiest... No. There's 260. 4 sides is one of the easiest to burst just because of the nubs and everything. At 50 height, is that going to actually matter? Probably not. Probably not at all. This is going to go, like, it pretty much just works, I think, for all these types. Like, that's how crazy of a meta this is going to change for everything. You could run Wizard Rod maybe on 450 ball or free ball or low orb or whatever. Maybe that goes like super, super nuts. Impact Drake 450. Hover low. I know some like hover on 70 height, but hover on low height. That might be really nuts. There's so much potential. Now, it's going to be a little bit interesting to see, and someone just pointed this out in the chat earlier too, if they do like a 950, a 350 or whatever, even a 150. I think it would be nice if they just picked Ratchets that aren't too nuts for the 50 height, but would TT actually do it? Probably not. I think if they do 950, that might be insane for the game. I'm of the opinion that we shouldn't have the one-piece rat. Yeah, it's one of the worst. It's the worst design. And M85 is like, you would think with the metal weight or whatever. Maybe no, it's easy to turn, easy to burst. I don't know. You see the Hasbro CX exclusive? I did, but I do not have permission to use the images for video, so I will skip the topic until maybe next week or when we eventually get picks for it. And M85 is dog shit. Like, even try Cerberus, like, even I said, like, yeah, it's decent at best, but you should probably save your money. And it's true, save your money for August. Yeah, honestly, I mean, actually, no, it's been over a month since Cerberus, so if you haven't already gotten it, you don't need to. Just get Samurai Caliber, maybe? Which, where's the plug? Where's the plug on this? Which is on Mall of Bays! There we go. Plenty left. Get whatever. And then after Under Flat, I'm very curious to see how much skipping on like the stadium on the X-Dash is it going to do. So obviously it's a lot shorter and everything. I'm just wondering stability on the Extreme Dash stuff. Again, when you're going to make... So how this basically works, by the way. I'm going to give an example of I have a 60 height ratchet, so this is easy to follow. Flat on 60 is still 60. Low flat with 60 height is basically 50. Under flat with 60 height... Dude, that's like 40. So imagine that. Imagine a super, super low attack. That might be really scary. Now, I am very curious because now we have low flat and under flat. Will we get low taper? And I really wish I had that clip of Ninja saying it, and I don't. But no, I think it would be interesting because we got a high taper. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know what they would do next. Like, would they release another 50 height ratchet but give it high flat? I don't think we need that. Or disc flat? I don't want to see that. I would like to see like more like a low point. These are easy bits for them to do. Eventually, other stuff. I just want more. I don't want another zap, please. No, don't give me another zap. Yeah, but these 3 bays, very, very... Well, actually, these 2 bays. Sorry to the Hell's Brave fans, but I'm not really looking at it crazy. Scale doesn't look like a powerful upper attack. No, this is definitely smash attack. This definitely be smash attack. This is not an explosive shape like Shark Edge, which is also another point I almost forgot to mention. I would probably say, I think in general for Beyblade X right now, I think the ideal weight you need to have a blade is maybe 35 grams plus, at least, for it to be considered. Because Hover was 35, it had a pretty good shape, whatever. If we start getting, like, 34 is already kind of pushing it. Golem is, like, fine, but Golem is still kind of gets ragdolled around. If we get, like, a 32, or, like, Rock Leon, for an example, like 29, I'm not going to consider it. Maybe in some format, like a limited format, where you can use the mid to lower tier stuff, maybe it's fine, but I don't know. We'll probably see more and more ratchets wear off like crazy. Yeah, that's also another point important to mention. Which I guess maybe once Beyblade X eventually ends, we'll get like 3D print for all the ratchet sides or whatever, so you can use it. That'd be funny. Under Rush, that would be funny, but I don't know if they would probably do it. We still haven't gone like I would even take like a normal Rush or low Rush reprint. It's also funny. I just realized this is a triple attack deck. I think that is the better call. I wouldn't want a triple defense deck set. I think attack is the best thing you can sell for Beyblade, generally speaking. Other types are very tricky. Like, defense, I think, is always, like, the worst sell, because it's, like, it's already kind of a niche appeal. They do show it off in the video. It pockets Wizard. I think it just goes really crazy for its movement. I think it'll probably hit decent. I think that's kind of all the points in regards to that, so There's also Valkyrie here, so if I forget to talk about it, someone can yell at me, but we're going to start talking about Samurai Caliber. And we'll talk a little bit more next week if they drop the video, which I'm assuming they probably should. But this one's a little bit exciting. Underball or lowball, that would be disgusting. That's what they'll do for the end game. They'll do Wizard Rod CX. They'll do like low wheel. I don't know. They'll do like a shorter under wheel, underball on 450. That would be funny. What else we got? Low smash is what Scale's gimmick should be. Yeah, that makes sense. That sounds kind of funny though. Samurai Caliber releases same time as the rest of the stuff, and honestly, it's really funny on the merge bit, which we're gonna get into here. So I need a really good angle on this one. Almost. This looks like really, really tall. It's like a giant cylinder shape, which I think is pretty interesting here. So this is where a lot of comparisons might go to Metal Fight Beyblade of like the Flame 230 CS, which I believe, to my memory off the top of my head, which I'll be referencing, shout out by the way, Cake from the WBO. If I have any notes, I'll read off it. I'm pretty sure what happened in Metal Fight, or the limited format, is when you have so many good attackers, like that are very much low height, you would have like a Flame 230 CS, which is like Flame is super up and raised, and great weight distribution, whatever, for that actual height. So it has good balance on the top there, unlike, let's say, a lot of CX stuff. You have 230, which is super, super tall, so kind of like just like sponges. And then after CS has a good mix of, I think, like stamina and defense together. So I believe those are the factors for it. Does Beyblade X have that technical equivalent right now? Maybe with like Flame CX or something like that. Because otherwise you would do like what? Like a Wizard Rod on... I'm trying to think. Like Wizard Rod 980 merge. Wizard Arc, Assist Blade, yeah, or Drawn Brave Wizard Arc, so Round, M85. Yeah, Round does protect. Shout out Fable, by the way. Great competitive tester, and what I actually use for reporting my scores. Yeah, Round does actually hide those 85 Ratchets, so that could be maybe something. That could be interesting. I do think there are a few factors here. People are going to say Flame 230 CS is back as if Burst and X doesn't have yeah, so this is the other thing I want to mention. So, the only thing that might kill this idea is the concept of how Beyblade X has the issue of bit bursts. Because this happens, yes, even on tall builds, which is why people don't run it. Well, it's a heavy resistance, so we'll see. Again, bottom heavy is very easy to burst because you can lift off, which is a bit burst. So I'm just thinking, like, even if we could get this hypothetical combo, what's to stop Hover Wyvern from just like a sure you can and that's it. So I don't know. I think this might be an alternate to Hexa. I don't think you get that Flame 230 CS meta. It might, maybe, I don't know. That one combo I did of, what is it? Flame Wheel on 180 Hexa was pretty funny. So maybe you could do something similar there. I don't know. I think only maybe if CX gets a good main blade. And I don't really know what the bit height is. I don't know if it's just really thick or if it's also really tall. That's where it gets a little bit hard to tell. Like, I don't know if this is it 3 millimeters, 2 millimeters, 1. Is it nothing? Is it just it's really thick? It looks like it might be pretty tall, but I can't also tell. The other interesting thing they do show is they do make this battle against kind of like a weak tier basic line of Drawn Dagger. Now, the movement didn't look that erratic. Like, it looked pretty, like, stationary for the most part. It wasn't going too stupid or crazy, but also, Drawn Dagger is not really something that's going to hit, like, super, super hard to force it to do a 16 gear stuff. And also, let's say you did do something against that Caliber stock combo. I don't even know if that's a good stock combo to go up against attack. So there are two factors there to actually consider. But aside from that, I think merge will be interesting. Will this be Flame 230C? Oh my god, it's MFB! MFB? Probably not. Will it maybe be a decent option? Maybe. Well, obviously this is going to be a wait-and-see thing. I'm towards it should probably be at least decent. I don't think you're going to replicate that Metal Fight. But I think a lot of them are just saying that are just thinking about, oh, this reminds me of... Whoa, that is really weird here. Hold on, give me a second. That reminds me of the Metal Fight thing. Oh, it must be like that or whatever. I just realized my aim, whatever, is really weird. I'm gonna go see if I'm back on my screen. We'll talk about the Valkyrie stuff to quickly end off, and I'll go over the channel plans for the rest of this week. Let me go on here. Am I in a void? No, I'm not. Okay, that was weird. My screen was not there. What else do we got here? I'm very worried with how tall the bit is. Agreed. Is merged tall in disc ball? I'm not sure. Is it classified as a defense bit? No, I believe this is officially labeled as a balance bit, and as it should be. Like point. Do you think we'll get a left spinning CX eventually? Probably. How am I doing? I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking. I also forgot to mention, this chat has donations. We have a donation goal, but I didn't bother to read it out. Drawn Buster 180 merge, the hardest hitting down tilt. That might be funny. That might be funny. Will Takara tell me to release a new Drake or Dragoon? I have no idea. Is this goal even still on? Yeah, we do still have it. Sick. It ends in 11 minutes, so that's how long I'll be yapping for unless we get any donations. Valkyrie Brave anyways, we'll talk about it. Valkyrie Brave. Valkyrie Bolt. Volt? Yeah, I actually managed to win it, so my wallet was safe. I don't know when it's going to come. It's EMS, so EMS is literally like customs suck. So probably only get it like Wednesday or Thursday, so you might only see the video in August, but you'll see a combination of Male and Valkyrie, and obviously all the content, all the testings, etc. An interesting idea I wanted to throw up here is that since I'm already doing my Cerberus testing video and then my Blast video, what I thought would be cool would be whatever builds I already used, I would only repeat it, but with the Valkyrie chip on whatever the stuff lost to, because that would be an interesting way to compare and contrast, and make the video a little bit more than just like, oh, Valkyrie chip on Blast, oh. Also, TT's ruling, you cannot do 3 lock chips repeated, which probably I think is the good choice either way. I think that would be a little bit crazy. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if it would make a difference, but I also don't want to... I don't have 3 to find out if that would be crazy for a tournament, so who knows? Who knows? Aside from that, Ball B's plug, did I already do it? Plenty of Samurai Calibers still there. So many Samurai Calibers, more than I can count. Okay, I think we pretty much hit most of the discussion. I'll go over the plans and everything this week, and then after we'll wrap up, I guess. Whoa! Sent one gift. Shout out to Jonathan for gifting a membership right now. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Wait, no, I think I just walked out by accident on the void. I did not see my... Oh, my switcher is not here. This is not good. Hold on 1 second. Thank you so much there. Okay, I gotta be back. Okay, here we go. Whoa! I'm not there! I'm not there! Oh! Wait, where is it going then? Okay, that was weird. Shout out to Jonathan. Thank you so much for the $5. I very much appreciate it. Very, very much thank you. I've been out of the loop since CX stuff released. Since March or since, like, this month? Because this month, I talked about it a little bit earlier. If you want... like a TLDR, most of the stuff's been pretty mid for custom line. Blast is pretty good. Flame on Wheel is pretty decent options for the meta. Cerberus CX exclusive, I think I already answered this. Yes, I did. I do not have consent to use the images, and I did not ask, so I can't really show it on the live here. Damn, no, okay, that's crazy then. All right, well, I can extend the discussion. I think the bit is a bit taller on the back of the box render we saw earlier is hilarious. That would be very, very funny, actually. Yeah, okay, well, we can do whatever. Oh, I appreciate the donation. Thank you very much, then. Okay, well, I'm going to go figure out in the meantime, because I am reading the chats. Oh, so the plans for this week. Yes, like I was saying. Sorry, I got very much sidetracked. I'm going to actually also figure out what's going on here. Where... Oh, I see the issue. It was an Inception. I had... Okay, that's funny. Okay, I just had the wrong thing selected. No wonder. So the plans for this week, you're going to pretty much expect... I have to do the other explosion again, right? Okay, hold on. I'm going to see if... Okay, that's normal. Okay, I just had the wrong thing selected. Well, now it's the 3rd time now. I should be getting Valkyrie this week. Rock Leon's video is probably tomorrow. I'm going to try to do a combination of just small comps. Actually, what I pretty much already do for review stuff. I don't think Leon is warranted to do full stuff because it's 29 grams, and I don't really think it's probably gonna be like Drasil 2 or something. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else would there be this week. Pegasus Blast testings will be there. I already said the build, whatever. It's no real surprise. Valkyrie video also this week. I'm still planning everything, by the way. Because the tier list video, I'll give a funny story to end off the stream. So, and this is related to the tier list video. I was deleting space and I accidentally deleted one of the sections to the tier list video. But in a way, it worked out. That was like earlier on in the thing, and I have to re-record it, whatever. I want to try to reformat it to make the length a little bit shorter and a little bit easier to consume. Because even though I think a long video is good for context, I want to make it a little bit digestible. And funny enough, a lot of that was the explanation for the CX section. And now that I'm adding the other CX stuff, it works out. But I basically have a backup, like, what do you call it, a WD passport. So that's like where I store a lot of my files, like a terabyte or whatever. So that has the El Drago Bay history footage that I recorded most of this year. And that has all the tournament footage that I did on all the events. And my drive literally died. Now, apparently the files are recoverable, and we're hoping to get it recovered, because otherwise I might have a mental breakdown. But that kind of froze me for part of these few days, because that was like a lot of important files that could have disappeared. I don't know what the issue was. It would connect, but then it's probably something with booting or whatever. But hopefully that gets recovered, so that's going to be really good. Because a lot of my stuff I have to kind of move around, delay. Like, I do plan to do a big tournament video, spread it off with each of the specific releases, trying to win with them. That extends to all the CX stuff. And the tier list video, I'm working on to make it a little bit better. Because after that tier list video, I want to work on the El Drago stuff. Because the issue is that my time is very tricky with balancing out to make sure I'm still uploading in these bigger projects. So it's very hard to balance. I do not take combo requests. But if you want to do a donation... I sound like such an asshole just saying that if you want to do a donation, I'll do your combination. I'll take even $1. Are you going to ever try to do Event and Aliens again into Beyblades? That type, the casual content just does not do good anymore. It's mostly competitive stuff that does a little bit better. Mergelo is looking pretty bad. I think it'll probably be an alternate to Hexa. We'll eventually see. This Rubber XL will elevate when it dashes, yes. But yeah, I think this week will be pretty good. Onward with August, I'm going to balance that pretty well. It's honestly been really weird because I've had to now catch up on earlier in July being pretty sick. So then after getting back into gymming and the routine, my mind, I have to like reprocess everything. But yeah, thank you so much for the support, everyone, on today's stream. I think we had a pretty good yap session here. I think we did pretty good, I would say. So trying to think of where the thing is here. So now, I'm going to say have a happy Sunday. Next week will probably be alive only if we get more context and information to Samurai Caliber. And that's going to be it for now. Alrighty, take care and bye.